So, like to welcome all of you for the last but one day of our journey of self-discovery course. One more day to go. Tomorrow evening we will conclude on this course. Quick wrap up and summary of our discussion. So we were discussing about how there is one God known by different names yesterday. That one God is called as Allah, Jehovah, Krishna, Ram because of the qualities he possesses. The second point we discussed yesterday evening was how there are many scriptures, although there is one God, because there are different levels of people, and according to the particular level of the people, then the scriptures were accordingly spoken in incomplete or complete detail. The third point we had discussed yesterday evening was how God is a person. He is not a light. He is a person who has a personality, who has a form, and we discussed that even in our practical experience, unless we accept that God is a person, there is no meaning to prayer. When we talk about prayer, we talk about a person who listens, a person who hears, a person who feels, a person who knows, and therefore God does have a personality and a form. The fourth point we had discussed was how Lord Krishna fits into the two definitions of God. The first one, how he is the source of everything. You remember the example of A to Z, combination of alphabets, how he is the source of all matter, earth, water, fire, air and ether, and how those alphabets have no meaning until some life and feeling is there. So therefore we discussed how unless the soul is present in this matter, there is no question Krishna is the source of both matter and spirit. We also discussed how Lord Krishna fits into the definition of God, the second definition, how he is the source of the six opulences: wealth, fame, beauty, strength, knowledge and renunciation. We discussed the fifth point, which was the difference between God and demigod, and there was a mess up with the slides yesterday. The acronym was Nawab. N stood for numbers. God is one, demigods are many, 33 crores. A stood for abodes. God's abode is Goloka, where he lives and is not destroyed by time. Demigod's abode is heaven, Swargaloka, which is destroyed by the power of time. W stands for work. God's work is enjoyment. There's no work that he has to do. And demigods, their work is administration of the universe, because they take care of the different departments and the affairs of this universe. Then the next A stands for activity. Appointment. God's appointment is eternally his God. All the demigods are appointment. What is their appointment? They are temporary posts. They are holding this temporary post which will be destroyed. And B stands for bodies. God's body is eternal, Satchidananda. And demigods, they die like we do. Although Brahma's lifespan is 311 trillion 40 billion years according to earthly calculations, he still dies. Then the sixth point we discussed yesterday was the difference between the worship of God and demigod, Krishna and demigods. Worship of Krishna, first point is motivation in the mob. The motivation is to give to Krishna, to love Krishna. And the motivation of a demigod worshipper is to take from the demigod and to exploit the demigod rather than giving and loving him. The O in the mob stands for offers. Krishna offers his devotees what they need. The demigods offer their devotees what they want. So long as they get their puja, they give them back. And B stands for the benedictions. Krishna offers eternal benedictions which go with us even in a future life. Demigods offer material benedictions which stay here back in this world when we leave this world, and nothing can go with us. And the last point, of course, we discussed was the practical approaches. You don't even know 33 crores, you don't know their procedures to worship them, you don't have the time and the energy. Water the root of the tree, and automatically all the parts of the tree will receive that water. Water Krishna, serve Krishna, and automatically the 33 crore demigods who are like the parts of Krishna tree will be nourished. Just a brief recapitulation of what we discussed yesterday. Today I'm sure is a very, very interesting topic that we are talking about. I see the hall half empty today on a very important topic. Hopefully it will get full as the class moves on. It's a working day, so it's not easy for people to get here. Hopefully People will be here. I don't think people should miss this one. You know. How many of you have felt this? Why do bad things happen to good people? It's quite amazing, isn't it? We all assume we are good. Not to say that you are not good, but our assumption is we are good, so why is bad happening to me? Isn't it? Just somehow the assumption. But I think it's just such a part of life. A student writes an examination, works really hard, toils it out, sweats it out, and wants an admission. Just an admission in a good college. Good grades, wants to pass the exam, that's it. And after having working hard, intelligent chap, still this man fails the exam, you know. And that other fellow who was a freak, he's been going around partying, flirting, watching movies, doing all kinds of stuff. And that guy sometimes even tops. So students come and ask me this question, Prabhuji, why do bad things happen to good people? मैंने इतना पढ़ाई किया फिर भी फेल हो गया और मैं ऐसा बुद्धू नहीं हूं. You know my results in the past, they were good. Why only this time I conked, failed? Of course, sometimes they fail because of not studying also. Most times, not sometimes. Most times. One father told his son, देख वो ज्योति को देख, फर्स्ट आई है क्लास में, तू निकम में फेल हो गया. तो बेटा बोला हाँ, उसको देख देख के ही फेल हो गया. पढ़ाई किया किधर, उसको ही क्लास में देखता रहता था, देख देख के फेल हो गया. And I don't know how many of you have in business work have experienced losses. Sometimes in a work you don't get a promotion, People who are chaplus, people who know how to butter their bosses up. By the way, that's an English phrase also. ये मैं हिंदी का अनुवाद नहीं कर रहा exactly. नहीं तो इंडिया में हिंदी का exact अनुवाद होता है. जैसे घड़ी का my watch is 5 minutes ahead. My watch is 5 minutes behind. That's not English. My watch is 5 minutes fast, 5 minutes slow is English. हिंदी में क्या बोलते हैं, मेरा घड़ी 5 मिनट आगे है. उसका exact translation क्या है, ahead. So my watch is 5 minutes ahead, my watch is 5 minutes behind. It's quite common. And they will say, yes, no, re. Hey, kai? Yes, no. Yes, no, re. In the West, if you say, na, what new English that is? Yes, no. हम कैसे बोलते हैं ना? उसका exact translation is this. And then they will say, give me little of everything. Huh? ऐसा कुछ English में नहीं होता हो. जैसे थोड़ा सगड़ा दिया. How it is, somehow. My God. You're thinking this is buttering his boss off. Buttering the boss off is actually literally मस्का लगाना. मस्का लगा के वो आगे बढ़ जाता है और इधर सिंसियर ऑनेस्ट काम करने वाला आदमी पीछू रहता है. And then you're thinking, why do bad things happen to good people? Of course, when bad things happen, good people learn from it and grow. One very successful businessman, he was asked by a newspaper reporter, sir, what is the secret of your success? The guy said 2 words. The reporter said, and may I know what those 2 words are? The businessman said, right decisions. When you make right decisions, you're successful in what you do. So the reporter said, that's fine, sir, right decisions. But may I ask you, on what basis do you make those right decisions? How do you make those right decisions? He said 1 word. So what is that 1 word, sir? The businessman said experience. When you have experience, automatically you make the right decisions. So the reporter said, that's fine, sir, but how do you get that experience? How do you get that experience? The businessman said, 2 words. Sir, and what are those 2 magic words? He said, wrong decisions. Whenever you make the wrong decisions, you get experience. When you get experience, automatically you make the right decisions. People fail in business, people lose in spite of being honest, sincere, and they grow. But nevertheless, the question remains, why did I fail in spite of I was being honest? How many of you have experienced the death of a very close one? Husband, wife, mother, father, child, sibling, extremely beloved. और वो इतना अच्छा आदमी था नहीं? Such a good person. Such an upright, honest, nice person. Why? Why would this happen to him at such a young age? बूढ़ा हो जाता 70-80 साल का, फिर भी समझता हूँ. 23-year-old? 23-year-old? And he wasn't even a bad guy. Extremely good guy. Why? Why do bad things happen to good people? Why, for no fault of someone, does one come down with terminal cancer? Why? That guy never drank, that guy never smoked, that guy didn't do anything to get that cancer. That guy did not live an abusive lifestyle, nor did he live a non-virtuous, sinful lifestyle. He was an excellent person. Why? Why then to an excellent person like him, such a thing should happen? I don't know if you ever thought about this. कभी-कभी अपना नजदीक वाला कोई होता है ना, when you see that person go through all this ना, you just suddenly kind of feel to yourself, why is this happening to him or her, you know? दूसरा किसी को पापी व्यक्ति को गड़बड़ वाले व्यक्ति को होता तो ठीक है, this nice person, why is it happening to him? Why do bad things happen to good people? Why should he die going through such excruciating pain? Death is certain. Death will come, but at 23, one of our devotees in Italy, and he was even a man of God, Krishna devotee, absolutely such an amazing devotee, Italian man, 23 years old, died, of cancer, melanoma. In a year's time, his spine was ravaged with this cancer, excruciating pain. Of course, because he was a devotee, he always had a smile on his face, and he faced it with a smile on his face. But I'm thinking, wondering, why? Why, in spite of being so good, nice, upright, does a person have to go through such things? And I'm sure this is a question in the minds of many of us. Many of us think why this happens. We are going to answer this question this evening. Why do bad things happen to good people? Of course, sometimes people expect their death. One man was walking. There was a, funeral ceremony. 2 coffins were being carried, one after the other. Behind that, a man was walking with a dog in his hand, chained dog. And behind the dog was 200 men walking in a queue in the funeral procession. So one guy came and he saw this whole scene, and he came to the guy with the dog and said, "What's all this?" He said, "Can't you see it's a funeral procession?" He said, "Of course I can see it's a funeral procession, but what is all this?" He said, "In the front coffin is my wife." So how did she die? This dog bit her and killed her. Attacked her, Mar gayi wo. Well, who's in the second coffin? Said, "My mother-in-law. The dog attacked her also, and she was killed, and her funeral." He said, "That's fine," and he came and said, "Can I have the dog, please?" He said, "You nut, 200 men are in queue. Go at the back and stand, Hare Krishna. All jokes of death apart, what a sobering experience it is, isn't it? When you have a near and dear one leave. My God. We are here to discuss this evening, why do bad things happen to good people? Once upon a time, there was a very wealthy merchant. This merchant had a lot of money. And every single day, this merchant would come to the balcony of his house, which was on probably the 5th, 6th, whatever floor. And in the town, all the needy people who would gather around his home, and this wealthy merchant would throw down all kinds of necessities. Food, grains, oil, butter, sugar, groceries, clothes, medicines. As an act of helping people, he would throw it all down every day. And this merchant realized that in spite of providing every single necessity to the people around, not one person in the town had ever bothered to look up and see who was the person who was throwing it. Not one person. Everyone was bothered about grabbing. What can I grab? The clothes or the groceries or the butter or the sugar or the medicines or the gadgets? What can I grab? Everyone was so busy grabbing the stuff, and they even started fighting amongst each other to grab each other's stuff, that they forgot to even look up and see who was the person who was giving it all. This merchant obviously was not at all happy with it. He was very upset. I'm giving it all and these guys don't even bother to look up and acknowledge that I'm the one who's giving it. He went to a sadhu and said, Maharaj, I have a problem. I have been helping the needy people of my town, giving them whatever they have solicited and wanted. The problem is not one single person has bothered to look up and acknowledge what I do. The sadhu whispered in his ears a secret. Said, you do this and everyone will look at you. The next morning this guy came up into the balcony and did exactly what the sadhu did. Sadhu said, I'm sorry. And every single person standing down there looked up and now started shouting abusive slangs, galis, ganda galis to this guy. You know why? Because the sadhu had told him, tomorrow instead of supplying them with their needs, throw stones instead. So this merchant had gathered stones and the next morning had started hurling stones into the gathering there. Or patthar lagana sab log, are tu ka baat, started, with all their pristine Sanskrit vocabulary, My God, they started abusing this guy. Can you imagine that? I'm thinking, look at this, isn't it? From up there, God has been providing us all of our necessities. How many of you, when you entered this hall today, thought that I have to breathe? Did any of you ever think that I have to breathe today? Unconsciously, you've been breathing in and out, and the air is all around here, and no one created it. God has given us the air to breathe. He has given us the water to drink, given us the food to eat, given us practically everything, like this wealthy merchant hurling favors upon the townspeople. You know what the most unfortunate part of the story is? Most people today don't even bother to turn their heads up to acknowledge and express their gratitude to the person who has given it to them. Any civilized man or woman would say a thank you. When you get something, say a thank you. Thank you, sir. Danke schön. Grazie mille. Dhanyavad. Nandri. Labhyachu. Spasiba balchoi. They'll say it. It's all thank you. It's all thank you. They would say a thank you. Oh my God. I don't know, life has got so busy for us that we don't bother to look up and say, hey, thank you God for having given us what you've given. And then when the stones come, Hare Krishna. When so many good things came, we never bothered to be grateful. When the difficult times came, now bad things happen to good people, patthar lagne lagta hai na, to kidhar jata hai blame? Bhagwan, pehle idhar udhar dekhte hain, teri wajah se hua. Acha, teri wajah se hua. Nahi, uski wajah se hua. Uski wajah se. Then there is the blame game doesn't work, then there's one person left. When you can't blame anyone around you, there's one person left. Upar wala. क्यों किया ऐसे? यही दोस्ती निभाई? गद्दार? I worshipped you, I came to you, I believed in you. This is what you did to me. My God. By the way, is God throwing stones? How many of you think God throws stones at you? How many of you feel God throws all the necessities at you? Okay, thank you. After that second day's session, at least this much I could expect. How many of you feel that the difficulties, the failures, the troubles which are beyond your control are thrown by God as this wealthy merchant throws stones? we have to look into it. If is it God sending it to us? Or what is it that causes those bad things in good people's lives? I always like to talk about this gentleman called Arthur Ashe, who was a very famous tennis player, won the Wimbledon championship several times in a row. Several times in a row. He wouldn't allow others to take the cup away. And he contracted a terminal disease. Millions of fans all over the world were writing letters to Arthur Ashe. He never bothered to read a single one. One letter, however, caught his attention. Arthur Ashe read this letter. In the letter, the fan had written, "My dear Arthur, greetings to you." It's quite stunning, man. You've been a man of God. You always went to church, attended the Sunday Mass. You chanted on your rosary the name of God. Why then did God do this to you? Arthur Ashe's reply was stunning. I want all of you to go through this reply. It was fantastic. He said, every year, 500 million begin to learn tennis. Out of the 500 million who begin to learn tennis, 500,000 actually learn how to play tennis. Out of 500,000 people who actually learn how to play tennis, about 50,000 learn professional tennis. Out of 50,000 people who learn professional tennis, 5,000 enter the Grand Slam. Out of 5,000 who enter the Grand Slam, 50 qualify for Wimbledon. Out of the 50 who qualify for Wimbledon, 4 reach the semi-finals. Out of the 4 who reach the semi-finals, 2 reach the finals. And out of 2 who reach the finals, 1 holds the trophy. Arthur Ashe wrote back to this fan, said, year after year, I kept holding the trophy and I never asked God why me. Year after year, with all my successes and all my achievements and accolades, I never asked God, why me? Why not my other competitor? When this disease comes to me, then I ask him, isn't it? My dear Lord, why are you doing this to me? How many of you have ever complained? अच्छा कभी होता है complain किया है कभी? Huh? नहीं ना? Have you ever complained when someone gets a good wife? एकदम खूबसूरत, educated, submissive wife. बोले भगवान मुझे क्यों दी? मेरा दोस्त भी पीछे था उसके. उसको दे देता ना भगवान. Why have you done this to me? But if that girl whom you are after, you are meaning now, many of you are not now, you are beyond that age. That girl whom you are after, if she goes away with someone, Bhagwan, mere saath aisa kyun kiya? One guy came up to me. I was sitting in our ashram in the temple, and I was sitting with, like this palaki maar ke baitha tha main. And this guy came up to me, and without saying anything, put his head in my lap. College going by. Started crying. So all of our other brahmacharis were moving around, So they were thinking, Prabhuji ne mara, kya kiya, ye kyun ro raha hai? And then he was crying so much, all the tears falling on my dhoti. So my dhoti started getting wet. So I said, tu idhar ro beta. इधर कंधे पे रख के रो, नहीं तो मेरे ब्रह्मचारी फ्रेंड है ना, वो सोचेंगे प्रभु जी क्या बड़े हो गए, अभी भी क्या करते हैं. Please put your head on my shoulder, don't cry on my lap. Then he's saying, सब औरत एक जात बेकार है. मैं बोला वापस बोल. बोला सब औरत एक जात बेकार है. मैं बोला क्यों? बोला 2 साल घुमाया उसने मेरे को. 2 years and now she's gone with another guy. I said, तेरे में कुछ गड़बड़ होगा. तो he's telling, प्रभु जी आपको ऐसा लगता है मेरे में गड़बड़? आप भी ऐसा बोलते हैं? Started crying. I said, okay, then don't worry, relax. Then I of course helped him come out of it all. But my God, anyone who's got his beloved sweetheart, the wife of his choice, of course he complains later. Never complains at that time. one guy, was in a mental hospital, mental asylum. Sorry, I can't help it. This just keep coming to me. This guy was hanging, he had a noose, and he had put his head in the noose like this to commit suicide. और कोई कुछ कर नहीं रहा था, ऐसे ही खड़ा था उधर, ऐसा डाल के. And he was saying, Leila, 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 Leila. So the one guy came to visit, so he asked the doctor, क्या हो गया इसको? He said he was after a girl whose name was Leila. 10 years back, she ran away with someone. And last 10 years is trying to commit suicide. I said, okay. So this guy went ahead, and as he went ahead, moved on. He saw another guy standing on the stool with the noose, and he was, Leila, Leila, Leila. He said, इसको क्या हो गया? बोला इसके साथ भाग गई वो. Whether this way or that way. Please, you remember my announcement on day 1? All humor is only to make the philosophy light. Please don't take it any personally, नहीं तो ladies मुझे ना पकड़ के ऐसा शाप दे देगी ना. Hare Krishna. Don't give me sharp, please. My goodness. Sometimes, Hare Krishna. Anyway, I won't tell more. Let's move on. So you don't complain. You get a good wife, good partner. Who complain? किसी ने बोला मेरी मनपसंद मुझे जो चाहिए थी, जो मेरा मनपसंद चाहिए था, मिल गए. No one complains. You have a good child. You ever complain? अच्छा लड़का, अच्छा बेटा, जो rare species है आजकल. It is getting close to extinction now. Obedient children are getting close to extinction, who take care of their elderly parents even in their old age, are extinct species nowadays. My God. You get a good child, no complaint. Otherwise, cribbing. क्या डाला है मेरे गोद में भगवान ने? पढ़ता नहीं, कुछ नहीं, पैसा खत्म करता रहता है, खराब, बेकार, निकम्मा, निठल्ला, आलसी, टट्टू. अरे बहुत एक एडजेक्टिव्स ऐसा यूज करते हैं ना. माय गॉड. वन टीचर केम एंड आस्क्ड द चाइल्ड, बेटा बड़े होके क्या करोगे? ही सेड शादी. बोला अरे नालायक, मैं पूछ रही हूं, तुम, मेरा मतलब है बड़े होके क्या बनोगे? बोला दूल्हा. बोला रास्कल, मेरा मतलब है तू बड़े होकर हासिल क्या करोगे? दुल्हन. इडियट. तुम्हारे मम्मी पापा तुमसे क्या चाहते हैं? बहू. अरे स्टूपिड, पापा को क्या दोगे? पोता. जिंदगी का मकसद क्या है तुम्हारे? हम दो, हमारे दो. When you get a Chanakya Pandit talks about 4 kinds of sons, children, sons, daughters, whichever. First one, Rinanubandhi Putra. Rinanubandhi Putra means the person whom you had taken money from as a loan in the past life comes as a child. कौड़ी इंटरेस्ट के साथ निकालेगा वो, बर्बाद कर देगा पैसा पूरा. ऋणानुबंधी पुत्र. He talks about the second kind of putra which is called उदासीन पुत्र. उदासीन पुत्र, बेटा दादी मर रही है तो, घर में शादी है तो, न्यूट्रल. Third kind of putra Chanakya Pandit talks about is Shatru Putra. Enemy from the past life has come to take badla. ऐसा पिदाएगा ना हो माँ बाप को. And the fourth kind of child is called Sevaka Putra, one who actually serves. किसी का सेवा क्या है, वो वापस लौट के आया है सेवा करने के लिए. You never crib when you get a bad, good child. Only when you get a bad child, na, then लॉटरी. अगर आपका लॉटरी लगा, कभी आप बोले हैं भगवान मेरा क्यों? Why me? Why this jackpot for me, Krishna? Why? And you lose? अरे क्या भगवान, how are you doing this to me? One old man used to always buy lotteries and never got a lottery. खरीदता था कभी नहीं. 80 साल क्या हो गया, 4 हार्ट अटैक आया. 4th heart attack, he was in the ICU, hospital, admitted. And as he was in the hospital, suddenly he won a lottery for 10 crores. And the wife got. Last अंदर हार्ट अटैक से पहले खरीद के रखा था, वो लग गया. So the wife said he has a heart problem. If we disclose this that he got a 10 crore lottery, वो ना एक्साइटमेंट में अगर हार्ट अटैक आएगा ना, मर जाएगा वो. So better. Doctor said, don't worry, leave it to me. I'll tell him. I'll disclose slowly. So he went to the guy. He said, sir, how are you? Good? You doing well? Yeah. How's your heart beating? Good. Well. He said, if you win a lottery for 1 crore, what will you do? He said, doctor, मजाक मत करना. जिंदगी भर खरीदा कुछ हुआ नहीं, अभी लास्ट में हार्ट अटैक के बाद क्या होगा? मजाक मत. नहीं, just tell me. I'm not saying you got it, but just in case you win a lottery for 1 crore, what will you do? He said, 50 lakhs, I'll give it to my wife. 20 lakhs, I'll give it to my daughter. 20 lakhs, I'll give it to my son. 10 lakhs, I'll distribute amongst relatives. Said, sir, आपको 5 crore का लॉटरी लगा तो आप क्या करें? बोले, डॉक्टर, अभी ज्यादा हो गया. Don't do more मजाक. He said, बोलो क्या करोगे? 1 करोड़ पत्नी को, 1 करोड़ बेटी को, 1 करोड़ बेटे को, 1 करोड़ रिलेटिव्स को, 1 करोड़ थोड़ा चैरिटी वैरिटी कर दूंगा इधर उधर मरने से पहले. अच्छा अभी बताओ, आपको अगर 10 करोड़ मिलेगा तो क्या करोगे? डॉक्टर, 10 करोड़ बताओ ना क्या करोगे? बोले 2 करोड़ पत्नी को, 2 करोड़ बेटे को, 2 करोड़ बेटी को, 6 करोड़ हो गया. और क्या? 2 करोड़ रिलेटिव्स को, 8 करोड़ हो गए. 1 करोड़ चैरिटी में. आपको 1 करोड़ दे दूंगा. The doctor got a heart attack and died. After hearing, I truly don't think any of you have ever complained and cribbed about the good things that have come to you. Have you? And all of us practically have always complained and cribbed about the bad that has happened to us. And we have most often, if not always, blamed God. क्यों किया ऐसा मेरे साथ? Why did you do this to me? There are 5 topics discussed in the Gita. We are going to cover all these 5 topics and get an answer to this question. The first topic discussed in the Gita is called Ishvara or God. On day 2 and day 4 we discussed this. There is a God and Krishna is that God. The second topic discussed in the Gita is Jiva or soul, and on day 3 we discussed who am I. Our identity is we are not the body, we are the eternal spirit soul. There are 3 more topics discussed in the Gita. Prakriti, material nature, Kala, time, and karma, activities. We shall be covering these 3 topics this evening and look at the answer to our question, why do bad things happen to good people? Are you all with me? Okay, thank you. बहुत soft है जैसे, लेकिन चलेगा. Let's start with Prakriti. This whole material world, the world that we live in, is called Prakriti. Nature. We always talk about Mother Nature. जैसे nature बोलते हैं ना, Mother Nature. And the very Sanskrit word Prakriti is feminine, and we have a beautiful little girl sitting here whose name is Prakriti. Bharwani. She's sitting right here. She used to be sitting behind. She's sitting in the first bench today. Prakriti. That's a feminine name, you know. Mother Nature. As soon as we talk about Mother Nature, we have to have a father. How can there be mother without father? So if nature is the mother, then God, Krishna, is the father. This whole world, material world, made of the elements, earth, water, fire, air and ether, is called Prakriti. What is it all about? We are always thinking, you know, okay, He created this world, but why did He create this world to be Dukkhalayam? Miseries. How many of you want to be old? Please raise your hands. Wow, थोड़ा ऊपर और उठाओ. He wants to be old. You want to be old? थोड़ा और उठाओ. No, you are already, so there's no choice now. Huh? Why you want to be old?
अच्छा लगता है मुझे बूढ़ा होना.
अपने क्राउड में एक नॉवेल्टी आया है आज. नॉवेल्टी आइटम है ये. एक ही ने हाथ उठाया. वो थोड़ी देर बाद मैं कन्विंस करूंगा तो बोलेगा नहीं, बराबर नहीं है ये. How many want to die? How many want to die? You want to die? Why? फेल हो गया? हृदय तोड़ा किसी ने? हाँ? जोर से. This world is miserable, so die. My God. How many like disease? जब सर फटता है ना, headache, how many like it? A severe headache? Nausea? Who wants all these miseries? None. Only few very realized philosophers are talking like that. Rest, no one talks about wanting miseries. And the question is, why did he create a world with miseries? Couldn't he create it to be a happy place? Couldn't he create it without death? जब अपनी पत्नी बच्चा कोई मर जाता है ना, पिता माता मर जाती है ना, तो लगता है क्यों बनाया यार ऐसा? Can't there be a family which lived happily ever after? Is there ever a place where the family can live happily ever after, when the husband, the wife, the kids are not separated by the power of time? Can there be a place when I'm not diseased? Can you imagine? For no fault of mine, 1997 I got tuberculosis. Simply living here in Mumbai, I got tuberculosis. I was on 7 months of anti-cox medicine. I didn't smoke. I never touched alcohol. I never had things which would cause any of these problems. Why? Why? Integrated with this world is this troubles and miseries. Couldn't he create a place without disease, without death, without old age, where we could just live a happy life? Isn't it? If some of you is a father, earned a lot of money, and you want to gift to your son or your daughter a nice house, 4-bedroom apartment, would you make that 4-bedroom apartment a miserable place? कंस्ट्रक्शन वाले को बोला पानी गिरना चाहिए बारिश में, बारिश में बिल्कुल एक हर पूरा होल होल रखने का, बारिश में पानी गिरना चाहिए. और इलेक्ट्रिसिटी वाले को बोला हर जगह में शॉक लगाना चाहिए, किधर भी हाथ लगा झटका मिलना चाहिए उसको. अरे, any father or mother, when they get a house, create a house for their children, they're going to make a miserable place where they're going to get electric shocks and being bathed by the rains through the leakage of the ceiling. And look at this father, Krishna. You call him a kind God? हाँ? अभी भी kind बोलोगे उसको? इतना देखने के बाद, इतना झेलने के बाद, हाँ? बिना कारण के मुझे tuberculosis हो गया. बिना किसी कारण के, in those Western world where I go to travel now, when I travel in many of these countries, there is no balti and magga to bathe, you know. आपलं कसं एक बाटली घेतली, पाणी टाकला, मग्गा घेतला, 4 घातले, झालं अंघोळ. नाही तर शावर करा सुरू. यू कांट ड्रॉप 1 ड्रॉप ऑफ वाटर एनीवेयर, यू नो. पानी गिरा ना उधर बाथरूम में, तो वो बोलते हैं अनसिविलाइज्ड प्रिमिटिव ट्राइबल है. So I have to go by all that civic etiquette of making sure not a drop of water. And they have these bathing tubs where you can't fill this with water. So inside the bathing tub there is a, you know, parda, and separated from the washroom, the commodes. And inside it's a small little place. There is a shower. उधर खड़े रह के स्नान करना पड़ता है. Twice I fell off. And in this 2 falling off, one knee got and the other knee got a meniscal tear. And at Kokilaben Ambani, both my knees were to be operated because of those 2 falls, because of the bathing tub, thanks to the bathing tub. आपला कसं बसले खाली घातलं, झाले, कुठे पडायचं कारणच नाही. My God, too much, you know. Can you imagine? Why would he create this place with so much misery? Being a kind father, would you still call him kind? आपके पत्नी को छीन लिया यार, छीन लिया, पति को छीन लिया, बच्चा को छीन लिया, 2 साल का था बस. You call him kind? Would you call that Krishna kind? Who made this house, this material world to be Dukkhalayam? Why did he make this world to be Dukkhalayam? I'm going to ask you a quick question. If you were to plan your dream city, what all would you want in your city? Bata? If you were to plan a city, huh? School? थकले नहीं स्कूल नहीं अजून. School. They're not tired yet. They say, we want a school or a college. I'm amazed. Huh? Good. Thank you. Yes. Huh? Garden. Temple. अरे क्या बात है, हमारा धंधा बंद नहीं किया आपने मैडम. हमको लगा आप बोलेंगे नहीं तो हमारा धंधा बंद हो जाएगा. धंधा बंद नहीं किया. टेम्पल, गार्डन, टेम्पल, एनीथिंग एल्स? हाँ जी. हाँ, trains and railway facilities. Huh? Maglev. The train, Shanghai Maglev. Trains. Okay, fine. Huh? Sanitation and cleanliness. Road traffic, good. No traffic. Good roads. Huh? Good. Huh? Shopping malls. Hare Krishna. इनका शादी हुआ नहीं लगता है अभी तक. Shopping malls. You know what? Sometimes I call married life as workshop. Because the husband works and the wife shops. It's an excellent workshop. What else would you want? A shopping mall. What else? Police station. काय रे? काय झालं काय तुला? He wants a police station. और कुछ? हाँ? No disease. अरे वैसा नहीं होता, वो भगवान करते. डिजीज है तो क्या? हॉस्पिटल ना. अच्छा, गुड हॉस्पिटल. ठीक है. पोल्यूशन कंट्रोल. ओके, झालं. और कुछ? हाँ जी. जेल. ये बोला ना, पुलिस थाना. एयरपोर्ट. हाँ. हरे कृष्णा. एकदम क्विक फ्लाइंग जेट एयरवेज. जिम. काय बाबा, 6-pack ab पाहिजे वाटतं तुला. You know where the 6-pack abs came from? The concept? The 6-pack abs came from such a horrible thing. In the West, you always get cans of beer packed in 6s. So when you turn it like this, 2, and 2, makes what? A 6-pack abs. That's where the concept has come from. Gym पाहिजे ना? Okay. Anything else? Amusement park. दुनिया कम है. देव नो प्रॉब्लम, दे देंगे हम आपको. दुनिया कम अम्यूजमेंट पार्क है, लेकिन वी विल गिव यू. यस, प्लेग्राउंड एंड स्टेडियम. प्लेग्राउंड. ओके. लास्ट 1 or 2. Food court. Ha. Food courts to eat nice cuisines from the world. Huh? Fire brigade. आग लावली आधीच. Okay. So yes, you plan your city, you will first want to have good residential facilities, na? To stay. रहने को घर होगा. Isn't it? A good house to stay. हाँ जी. हाँ. गाना आपने fill in the blank कर दिया. Thank you. And then you will definitely, someone said, disease नहीं तो कम से कम अच्छा hospital, अच्छे doctor तो रहेंगे. One doctor asked the patient, any last wish sir? मर रहा था वो. बोला, I want to see another doctor. You know, my God. Schools, college education, playgrounds, stadiums, is it not? Okay, we included that also. Huh? Hare Krishna. अरे ये नहीं बोला कोई. कितनी सज्जन तुम लोग. हाँ, पिक्चरच पाहत नाही अजिबात. Cinema, entertainment facilities, workshop, good malls to buy things, do shopping, parks, gardens. My goodness, that's right, isn't it? And good roads without traffic. Absolutely. And maglev and fantastic trains, you know. My goodness. And fantastic airports and facilities to fly. अने फूड कोर्ट नहीं डाला मैं क्योंकि भूख लगता है लोगों को देख के. एंड टेम्पल, प्लेस ऑफ वर्शिप, इज इट नॉट? आणि कोणीतरी म्हटलं प्रिझन. Someone said jail, you know. Put jail also in the city. Why? Why need a jail? What is the purpose of a jail? The purpose of a jail is correction. There is always people who break the law. They just have it in their blood. अपने में भी है, ऐसा मतलब जो हम में नहीं है. वो ट्रैफिक पुलिस में नहीं रहेगा ना. रात में सिग्नल है लाल. I had one Gujarati family. I was coming back. They had a 2-year-old Chaitanya is his name, And this child was sitting right next to his father. I was sitting in the back seat. The father was driving. Chaitanya, 2-year-old kid, little sweet, cute, chubby kid, is sitting right next. And the father stopped because read. The child, 2-year-old is saying, Papa, police nate, chalo ne. 2-year-old, chalo ne. बोला आगे जाके बड़ा आदमी बनेगा तुम. Just how it's just in our blood. Breaking laws is just in the blood. Why do you need a prison? Why do you need police? Why do you need a correction facility called the prison? Simple. Because there will always be people who choose not to live by the law of the state. Choose not to live by the law of the state. 3 engineers and 3 lawyers. They were going to Pune from Bombay. So the 3 engineers purchased 3 tickets and the 3 lawyers purchased only 1. Lawyers, smart guys. So the engineer said, how you will travel? TT catches then? Said, you watch. So all the 3 engineers with their 3 tickets boarded the train and all the 3 lawyers went inside the public toilet and closed it. So TT आया 4 बार गया उधर से अरे इतना देर अंदर क्या कर रहा है? We said कुछ खाया होगा गड़बड़ होगा तो बाहर नहीं आ रहा है वो. So he knocked at the door. So one of the lawyers pulled his hand out like that. Ticket, And the TT saw, ठीक है. He thought आई कि अंदर गया पहुंच गया Pune. So while coming back, all 3 engineers purchased only 1 ticket now. बोला अपने को आइडिया मालूम पड़ गया. And the lawyers didn't buy any. बोला अरे अभी कैसे जाएगा? बोला तुम देख. So all the 3 engineers boarded the train and got into the toilet. Obviously, एक ही ticket है. The lawyers got in there and one of the lawyers knocked at the door. A hand came out. He took that ticket and all 3 went inside the other toilet. You can imagine, my God. This tendency to break the law is just there with all of us. Just there with all of us. आपने कभी चोरी करके कोई किसी का आम वाम खाया है क्या? पेड़ का तोड़ के? उसमें कैसा मजा आता है? अरे घर में माँ इतना बड़ा बड़ा टोकरी खरीद के लाई, वो नहीं मजा आता है. वो चोरी करके क्या ना? मम्मी टाइम पे खाना देती, उसमें मजा नहीं आता. मम्मी जब बाहर जाएगी ना, वो डब्बा डुब्बा खोल के अंदर से दिखा रहे. What fun that is, huh? That fun is still okay, but there are people who break the law in a very serious way. The 6 chaps in Delhi, they broke the law in a very serious way. They should be spared. Why do you need a prison? Because there will be this kind of people who will break the law. There will be these kind of people who will go against the set law of the state. They need to be corrected. Laaton ke bhoot, baaton se nahi mante. When they were in the Tihar jail, Times of India reported, while they were in Tihar, all the other criminals they were thinking, rascals, idiots, nuts. हम लोग भी criminal, लेकिन तेरे जैसे घिनौने नहीं है. They bet them up. The criminals bet these criminals, And then while being beaten up, this is news from TOI. These prisoners, many of them passed urine and excreta right there in the prison and made them eat it. This is true news, Made them eat it. Gave them urine to drink and human excreta to drink and eat it. Said all the punishment that comes later, let it come. पहला मैं दिखाता हूँ इसको ये क्या किया है. Why you need a prison? You need a prison because there will always be people who break the law. Always be people who break the law. All these corrupt schemes, all these corrupt practices, Anna Hazare was trying to fight, and who's scared? Who cares, There'll always be people who try to go around the way and make a fortune for themselves in the world. All these corporate schemes, I can tell you the in and out of these schemes, in and out of these scandals. Analyze it to the core. Don't think I'm just a Gita man, My God, when you analyze the scams, you will see how this is done, There's a tendency. So why account for a prison in a city? Because there will always be people who are criminal. They have that criminal tendency. And is the prison the recklessness of the government? No. The government is kind. Kind to everyone else and kind to the guy who is inside also. They could have shot him down. But to put him in a prison means to correct his criminal tendency. Correction is more important than killing. Correct that person. Change that person. Reform that person. Transform that person. You know, that's what a prison is meant for. That's what a prison is meant to do. Krishna created this world as a prison, as a correction facility. You know, this world is a facility to correct a criminal tendency. If it's a facility to correct a criminal tendency, means we must have made a mistake. We must have made a mistake, and we must have probably done some crime which has brought us here from where we lived. If this world is like a prison, jail, correct? Okay, if a prison is meant to rectify or correct the prisoner, what should the prison be like? If the prisoner has to actually come to a conclusion, गलती किया यार मैंने इधर आके, गलती किया है गड़बड़ करके, and wants to correct himself or herself, what should the prison be like? Temple? Temple? Yeah, probably temple will reform, but apart from that, what else? What should be the prison cell be like? Torturous. Torturous. It should offer you two things. C stands for prison is a correction facility. This world is like a correction facility, Prakriti. O stands for the prison offers two things, pain and punishment. How do you get the pain? It's a small cell. It's constructed in such a way with such less facility, hardly any place. There's no toilet or bathroom. Many of the cells you have to pass there. You have to pass there. There's hardly any breeze, hardly any light. Just the way the prison is constructed, it gives you pain. And on top of that pain, then there is a punishment. Who gives the punishment? The jailer. Whacks you, you know. Pain is given by the prison and punishment is given by the jailer. With the pain and the punishment put together, what the prisoner should think, criminal? Galti kiya. I don't want to make this mistake again and come in. If they're kind to me and I move out of this place now, I don't want to come in here ever again. My God. You know, there was a man who went to the pearly gates of St. Peter and he thought, where do you want to go? Heaven or hell? He said, dikhao kya hai pehle sample. So he showed him, said, you're so sinful, you're meant to go to hell. Said, do I have a choice in which hell? He said, yeah, there is an American hell, German hell and Indian hell. Choose which one you want. Said, show me the American one first. He saw. American hell had an electric chair where you would be put there first and given a severe electric shock so that you correct your ways. And then there was a bed of nails on which you would be asked to walk till all these sharp nails pierce your foot. And then there was a guy who would whack you like anything, you know. He said, Itar nahi baba. Let me see the German one. German was also the same. And then he saw the Indian hell. There was a big queue in front of the Indian hell. Said, why? What happened? He went and saw same thing, electric chair, bed of nails. Said, what is the difference? He said, here electricity is never there. And all the people around stole all the nails for their homes. And the guy who was meant to whack was a government servant who signs muster and goes to drink tea, you know. Doesn't work. A prison is meant to offer pain and punishment. This world is like a prison. You know how it offers pain? Through birth, through disease, through old age, and through death. You can't avoid it. You know why Krishna created these four things? So we could realize that I have to correct my ways. एक गलती किया किधर कुछ तो किया जिससे इधर आ गया ना फंस गया ना यहाँ I have to reform my ways. And you know how the punishment comes? Through these three things. Adhyatmika, misery is caused by the body and the mind. Adhibhautika, misery is caused by other living entities to us. And Adhidaivika, misery is caused by natural catastrophes. First day we discussed this in first day. Correct? Who offers the punishment? Jailer. Prison offers the pain and the jailer offers the punishment. इसको ऐसा पिदाऊंगा ना, सुधर जाना चाहिए आदमी. You know, my God, one guy was shouting on the street, Prime Minister निकम्मा है, Prime Minister निकम्मा है. So when police came and slapped him. रास्कल पब्लिक में इतना चिल्लाता है प्राइम मिनिस्टर निकम्मा है. अरे नहीं साहब, मैं बोल रहा था यूके का प्राइम मिनिस्टर निकम्मा है. मैं कहां बोला? द पुलिस गिव हिम अनदर स्लैप. हमको इतना उल्लू समझता है कि हम ये भी नहीं जानते कौन सा प्राइम मिनिस्टर निकम्मा है. You know what I mean? My God. Jailer, policeman offer punishment. You know who is the jailer of this prison? This world? If this is compared to a prison to correct a criminal tendency, the pain is birth, old age, disease, death. The punishment is these three things. You know who is a jailer? Do you know what a prison is called in Sanskrit? काय म्हणतात? कारागृह. Anything else? तड़ीपार. A prison is also called in Sanskrit Durg. Durg is a fortress. Dur, very difficult. Gati, difficult to get out of. Durga, very difficult to get out of. A prison is also called as Durg. And the jailer is called Durga. You know? If this prison, this world is called a Durg, which is meant to correct us, then the jailer is called Durga. And just like a jailer has his whack to give a whack and correct and remind us, reform, change. Similarly, Durga carries a trident, a trishul in her hand. You know what these three shuls are? The first one is Adhyatmika, miseries caused by the body and the mind. ऐसा बसतो ना अपन, ऐसा कंप्यूटर का समझ, दुर्गा डाल रही है एक, poking you with the adhyatmika klesh. Sometimes for no reason you're not able to sleep, and the mind is only dwelling on all the troubles, and the mind is taking you for a toss. Durga is poking the first shul, adhyatmika, body and mind. And then, अरे मैंने क्या किया यार? कुछ नहीं किया ना. Why is this person not behaving rightly with me? How many of you have at least one person who just cannot appreciate you? At least one person who just cannot appreciate you, just cannot stand you? My God. भगवान ने सबके लिए एक एक आइटम भेजा है हमारे लिए. To humble us. To humble us so that things don't get into our heads, you know. My God. She pokes the second trident through another person, Adhibhautika. You know, when I joined the temple, or Radha Gopinath temple as a monk in 1996, that year, I got malaria 7 times in a year. 7 relapses of malaria. And every consecutive year I got malaria. I have been a patient of malaria 17 times in the last 17 years I've got malaria. मैंने क्या किया? ओ मच्छरनी. It's not मच्छर, it's मच्छरनी. मैं इतना ब्रह्मचारी सोचा ही नहीं उसने. ब्रह्मचारी के पास ऐसा कैसे जाके मैं एसोसिएशन दूं उसका? She came, bit me, and gone 17 times for no reason. You know what Durga does? बोला ले बेटा, दूसरा वाला है ना त्रिशूल का, ले. Realize that you have to change, reform your ways. This is not the place for you. Why do you stay here where you have no choice over a mosquito, a father-in-law, and a mother-in-law, a husband, a child treating you like this? You have no choice over cancer which comes to you for no fault of yours. Why do you want to stay here in the prison? No sane man wants to live in the prison. And the third shul of the Trishul is the Adhidaivika Klesh. Tsunamis, all kinds of natural disasters. One guy lost his wife in the tsunami. पत्नी गई उसकी सुनामी में, मर गई. So after the tsunami was over, he was walking on the side of the ocean, and the ocean was tide जो आ रहा था और उसका पैर पे पानी आ रहा था. He said, कितना भी पैर धोले वापस नहीं लूंगा. कितना भी I won't take up. Natural disasters and catastrophes. Durga is very kind. A jailer is not ruthless. A jailer is kind. Because lattige katti pettu. कन्नड़ा. लातों के भूत बातों से नहीं मानते जी. हमको सुधरने के लिए ना बहुत लगता है ये सब. This is called shock therapy. When someone has amnesia because of an accident, first what is done by the psychiatrist or a psychologist? Yes, madam? You remind him of his old days, take him to places, fragrances, sights, people. See, remember where you are from. Remember, वो काम नहीं करता है ना, फिर आ बेटा. ऐसा झटका लगाते ना एक. So God is also kind. He first tries to induce that remembrance of His in us through many different ways. When nothing works, then Durga, chal, ho ja shuru. And then life goes in being poked by Durga. Every single day life goes by poked by Durga. And people are thinking, it's a part of the game, no? What to do? It's a part of the game, no? And it's just part of life, just have to learn how to live with it. Kabhi khushi, kabhi gam, tararam, pam, pam. Just live with it, What's the problem? Just live with it. My God, it's funny how people say we live with it. A prisoner would be foolish if he says, it's okay, let that guy whack me, it's a part of the game. My God. So the O in the CO stands for offers. C is correction facility. O is a prison offers pain and punishment which is given by the jailer, in our case Durga Devi. What was our mistake? What was the crime we committed that we came here? Where did we come here from? We came here from the spiritual kingdom of God, which is called Vaikuntha. You know what is the meaning of Kuntha? Kuntha means anxiety. Vaikuntha means free from any anxiety. We have come from the spiritual abode of God. We are all children of God, Krishna's children, all with Him. All of us served Him with great love and affection. But, बोला नहीं बस अभी, बस झाला था. I want to go. I want to be independent of Krishna. I don't want to stay with Krishna. We came from the spiritual kingdom of God, which is our original home. Just like a prisoner, is that his home? No. He comes to the prison from his home after breaking a law. Similarly, if this world is like a prison, this is not our home. We came from another place which was our home, Krishna's abode. Home is not a structure of bricks and stones. That's a house. Home is a place where there is relationships. Home is a place where there is love. Home is a place where there is cooperation and harmony. Home is a place where there is affectionate dealings. Home is a place where one finds shelter. That's called a home. Many times when these things lack, then people live as strangers in a house. That's not a home. That's just a house. One of my friends, once he had to go to the loo. So he said, Prabhuji, I'm just going to the washroom. Can you please hold my cell phone? I said, okay. So I kept his cell phone, so someone called. So I saw the caller ID, it said hell. तो मैं लिया नहीं वो phone. Why would I take the phone? And after a while, by the way, I forgot to mention in the beginning today, if you allow me, we are going to go 15 to 20 minutes overtime this evening. Because this topic is long, I had to actually tell you yesterday only. But I forgot, I'll still try to finish by 9. But if it doesn't get over by 9, 10 to 15 minutes extra, I hope things are all right with you. How many are okay? We have to go by the majority. Okay, thank you. So the majority wins. And others who would say, वो think बहुत intense हो गया, हमको criminal बोला, prison में बोला, crime किया बोला, you can lead, no problem, you don't have to go through the torture of feeling that you're a criminal or anything. My God, Hare Krishna. So this friend of mine gives the phone to me, and I saw hell. So I didn't pick the phone up. So he came out. He said, "Bro, phone आया था कुछ?" बोला आया था ना, किधर से? Hell से. I said, "What is this hell all about?" He said, "Home." He said, "No one loves me there. No one loves me there. In fact, I'm hated there. So I can't think of any other caller ID for my home number, house number rather, than hell." He put it. One guy came from office early, जल्दी आया वो. रोज 8 बजे आता था, 5 बजे आ गया. तो पत्नी पूछी, कैसे आज जल्दी आ गए? बोले बॉस बोले go to hell. जल्दी आ गया, इसलिए बॉस ने बोला go to hell में आ गया. Hare Krishna. Make your houses homes. Don't keep those houses structures of stones. It's a very fine art. It's an extremely fine art to turn a house into a home. My guru, His Holiness Radhanath Swami, he made even our brahmachari ashram, monks, where all of us live there, a home where we never missed that affection. We left our parents and came. Dear mothers, dear fathers, who treated us like an apple of their eyes. Most all of us were treated like the apple of their eyes. Successful in our careers. We were not like failures that came to become monks. Successful in our careers, coming from good families, loved. And if we wouldn't get that affection, how would we survive? Year after year to keep going unless there is affectionate dealings. Even a monk cannot easily survive. What to speak of anyone else? And thanks to His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj, who created within the monastery amongst us monks, such incredible bonding, such incredible affectionate friendships, that we never thought that we are missing anything. And food and prasad, अरे आपके घरों में नहीं बनता होगा. आपके घरों में नहीं बनता होगा. Our head cook has done his BTech in metallurgical engineering from IIT Powai. Our head cook is an IITian, and his entire team, 5 of them from IIT, assist him. Some of them did their postgrad from the United States of America and are now bawarchis. Not just this Maharaj, that Maharaj also. There are 2 Maharajas, no? One Maharaj is this Maharaj, other Maharaj is a cook Maharaj. We never missed anything. We got home. Because we got home, we never thought of going elsewhere. We were all in that home. Krishna's home. Goloka. We heard yesterday, Krishna's abode is called Goloka, Vaikuntha. We were all with him. Such a fantastic home. Loving dealings. There is no question of any kind of animosity, hostility, envy, backbiting, criticism, misunderstanding, conflict. My God, what a place it would be, isn't it? Such an incredible, harmonious place to be and live. Wow. And we said, no. Bas, I don't want to be there. I'll tell you one story. I have a friend of mine. Very nice guy, Used to come for our Monday classes. Still comes. And this guy, he has 2 beautiful daughters. One is probably 8, 9, 10. The other is about 4, 5. Very sweet daughters. Very, very sweet daughters. And I was about to go to the UK last year, summer. And the day before I left, I asked him for something. Can you just get me this? I'm leaving. I just need something last minute, something I needed. Can you just get me this? He's a very good friend. So he said, okay. I called him at that time, that day. You know something? The day before, the night before, I was struggling in my mind. Should I call him to ask for this? Should I call him to ask for this? And I was saying, no. Why should I? I'll get it myself. But somehow next morning, irresistibly, I just went to the contacts, found out the number and called him. That afternoon, he came with whatever I had asked for. He came. And then he told me, after some pleasantries, this, that, he said, Prabhuji, I'm madly in love with another woman. I said, I know your wife, man. She's such a gentle, sweet, courteous lady. I don't think so anyone would be as fortunate to have a wife like hers. She has put up to all your tantrums. I know what kind of a person you are also. And in spite of all of that, she has lived through with you, supportively, supporting your family, your kids, financially, emotionally, from all points of view. What are you saying? Look at your angels. Those two girls are like angels. Such sweet kids. Then of course, there is a story which I told him to change his phone number so that he doesn't talk to her, the other lady. That first you change your phone number. If you want to save your family, change your number first. And as I told him change your number, my phone rang. I got a message. And on the message it said, if you want this phone number, please contact Abdul. You know, you get those numbers? I don't know if any of you get those SMSs. If you want those Rohit Prabhu's contacts, always send me those messages. If you want this number, kindly contact Abdul, Rahman, Salman, all. I don't know why these names only come. But nevertheless, you get all these names. I told him, look, this number is for you. Change. I told you when the message has come, Krishna has sent it, you change this number, your family will be saved. I take my word, you will be saved, your family will be saved. And I left for the UK. Of course, he kept calling me, things were better. When I got back, just recently, he told me why he got involved with this lady. Important lesson for family people, you know, apart from the philosophy that we are learning. He told me why he got involved with this lady. He said, I never used to meet her at all. All we would do is speak on phones. We hardly met actually. He said for the last 1 year, every day she would call me. Every single day she would call me. Did you give enough good sleep last night? Did you get good sleep last night? Have you eaten? How are you feeling today? Yesterday you had a cough, na? I heard you coughing on the phone. Is your cough all right? Did you go to a doctor? I said, "Arey, ye badi cheez kya hai isme?" Probably that lady who was so nice, but she didn't express it, you know. That expression of feelings, emotions, appreciation, kindness, courteousness, affection was not there. He had to find it somewhere. Everyone needs it. Everyone needs that emotional support. He had to find it somewhere. He found it in another lady. Of course, then I told his wife, look, you're such a nice lady, and I know you love your husband, but it's very important that you also express it. Let him know that you feel this also. That's a home. And we have left that home. A home where Krishna cared for us and everyone there cared for us. We have left that home to come to this world full of death and disease and old age and miseries of the mind and the body and caused by others and disasters. A prison. We have left it all to come and settle for such a cheap option called this world. What a cheap, dirty option to live in, this world. We adore it. We are fascinated by its glitter and glamour. Remember, I am not saying, आज ही सब बोलेंगे, प्रभु जी, फांसी का फंदा लगा दो. क्यों ये cheap option? Go back home, back to Godhead, back there. That's not the point. While we live here, we have to try and make it the best what we can. But don't forget, this is not our home. This is simply a prison. Otherwise, why misery here? In a home there is shelter, in a home there is comfort, in a home there is affection, in a home there is love. Why misery? Why old age? Why disease? Why death? Why this mental anxiety? Why this stress? Why this trouble? All because this is not a place to live. Jesus Christ said, this world is simply to be taken as a bridge. Don't make your house on the bridge. Use the bridge simply to cross the river and move on. What was our crime? Our crime was only one thing: independence from God. There's only one law there in the world. When you break the law of the city, then they put you in the prison to correct you. When you broke the law of God's kingdom, the spiritual kingdom where we originally were our home, that independence, what was the independence? My dear Lord, look now, it's been a long time that we've been together. Now I don't want to be with you. बस हाँ. अरे मत जा बाबा, उधर नहीं तेरा जमेगा. बस बोला ना, बस. अभी आगे नहीं, बस. That independence from God brought us here, you know. You know something? When there's a fancy car now, Rolls-Royce, Limo, Bentley, Jaguar, wealthy people have it. Aston Martin. Higher end cars are owned by wealthy people. And wealthy people don't drive. She खुद थोड़ी ड्राइव करता है कोई गाड़ी. खुद ड्राइव करके आते हैं. Wealthy people have chauffeurs, drivers. The driver drives the car. The car belongs to the owner, Baba. But the driver gets to drive a limo. ड्राइवर भी लिमोजिन चलाता है. ड्राइवर भी फंटास्टिक कोजी सीट में बैठता है. एसी भी चलता है. मसाजर भी चलता है पीछे से. म्यूजिक भी चलता है. द ओनर डजंट से कल से 4 स्वेटर और शॉल पहन के आने का. एसी तेरे लिए नहीं है. The owner doesn't say you have to put ear muffs on your ear because music you cannot enjoy, huh? He doesn't say on your driver's seat na I'll put a bed of nails because आप ऐसा comfortable, आपको चुभना चाहिए थोड़ा नीचे से. You're a servant. So long as the driver, the servant cooperates with the master na, he enjoys the same opulence as the master. One of my friends, very big man here in Bombay, he has a servant. Last 45 to 50 years that man has been there with him. And because I've stayed in many of their homes all over the country, they have many homes, and I've stayed with this family many times. Everywhere this friend of mine goes, he takes this servant along. His servant's name is Bahadur. 50 years, Nepali guy. I asked Bahadur once, Bahadur, इतना बड़ा गाड़ी बंगला ऑपुलेंस देख के तेरे मन में कभी जला नहीं? तू जलन नहीं होती कभी? एनवी? बोला जलन क्या, जलूं क्यों? हमारे मास्टर है ना बाबूजी, he calls him बाबू. फिर हमारे बाबूजी है ना, इतने भले मानुस है ना, मैंने तो प्रेम से सेवा किया उनका, और जो प्रेम से सेवा किया ना वो मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि मैं कभी जला नहीं उनसे. This man, Bahadur, is a servant. He's never gone by train. Only traveled by flight. Never gone by train. नौकर है, नौकर. 50 साल से नौकर है. And not just gone domestic, gone international to all vacations with Babuji. Babuji has said, you have to come because without you I can't go. You have to take care of all my needs. You have to cook for me. You have to do all this. This man doesn't eat unless Bahadur cooks for him. Even outside the country. I'm thinking if the servant cooperatively serves the master, na, the master makes the servant his own and says, you enjoy my opulence as well. But when the driver decides not to not obey the master says, tomorrow I have a flight at 7 o'clock, come at 5 in the morning. आता नहीं वो. मास्टर टैक्सी लेके चला जाता है बेचारा. दूसरे दिन फ्लैश आता है, शाम को बोलता है मास्टर सर्वेंट से बोलता है ड्राइवर से, किधर था? बोला ड्राइव पे गया था. कौन सी गाड़ी में? आपकी लिमो में. कितने बजे? 8 बजे. आया क्यों नहीं? नहीं आया बस. नहीं आया बस. अभी जा तू. जा निकल. तेरे लिए BAST अच्छा है, बेस्ट. BAST is best for you. Go. I'll tell you, Krishna is that kind Lord. Don't be independent of him. The more we cooperatively serve our master like Bahadur did, we will all become Bahadurs. Krishna will share his joys, his love, his opulence, everything with us, like a master does with a very sincere, genuine servant who loves to serve, So what was the crime? Independence of God. Cozy. What's cozy? Prison is a correction facility. This world is to correct our criminal tendency to be independent of God. How does it correct us? By offering us pain and punishment to the birth, old age, disease, death, and Durga Devi is Adhyatmika, Adhibhautika, and Adhidaivika. Where did we come here from? From a home. Not a house, a home. The beloved abode of our Lord, Goloka, Vaikuntha, the spiritual kingdom of God. S for the spiritual kingdom. And what was the crime that we made? I stands for independence. अच्छा ये सब prison में आ गया ना criminal, उसके बाद क्या करते हैं उसको? बताइए तो. जैसे पहले क्रिमिनल आता है उस प्रिजन में, अंदर क्या करते हैं उसको? पनिशमेंट से पहले क्या? हाँ, नंबर दे देते हैं जी, कपड़े बदल देते हैं उसके, यूनिफॉर्म दे देते हैं उसको. नहीं, पट्टे पट्टे वाला कैदी नंबर 420 है कि नहीं? U stands for uniform. When we leave the kingdom of God, who are we? The spiritual body. You remember the third body? And when we come into this prison cell, we get the uniform. What is the uniform? The gross and the subtle body. How many varieties of uniforms are there? Hare Krishna. कौन सा लेंगे जी इसमें से पसंद करते हैं? पॉलिटिशियंस होते हैं ना प्रिजन में, उनको अलग यूनिफॉर्म होता है. और जो पिक पॉकेटर्स होते हैं उनके लिए अलग यूनिफॉर्म होता है. सेल भी अलग अलग होते हैं. So different people get their different uniforms and costumes in this prison. That costume or uniform is the material body. How many species? Jalaja Navalakshani. Navalakshani, 9 lakh species of aquatics. Sthavaram Lakshavimshati, 20 lakh species of trees. Krimaya Rudra Sankhyaakaha, 11 lakh species of reptiles. Pakshinam Dashalakshanam, 10 lakh species of birds. Trimshal Lakshani Pashavaha, 30 lakh species of animals. Chatur Lakshani Manavaha, 4 lakh species of human beings, is equal to 84 lakh species. You have heard that many times, na? 84 lakh yoni, 8,400,000 species of life. You are thinking, अरे 4 lakh species of life, human beings, 4 lakh human कैसे है? वो तो homo sapien है एक. 4 lakh species of human beings are not divided by physical appearance. They are divided based on the ability to understand realities of life given by God. That's why there are 4 lakh shades of such species given in our scriptures. You know, 84 lakh species, uniforms for the prisoner, the soul who comes into this world. अच्छा, uniform पहनने के बाद क्या होता है? आगे? Once the uniform is given to the prisoner, then what's next? हाजी हाजी? Tag? बंदी ना? बेड़ी? बेड़िया लगा दो भाई. Don't allow him to move freely. All of you think you can freely move, nahi? You are all thinking that you are moving freely in this prison called the material world, Durga. I choose to come to this course. I choose to go to Copper Chimney. I choose to go to Atria. I choose to sleep, which I choose many times. I choose to eat. अरे freedom है किधर? Shackles. S stands for shackles. You know, cozy US. The US may be very cozy apparently, but this material world, although seems very cozy, is not at all cozy. You know, what are the shackles? They are called the 3 modes of material nature. They bind us. The first one is called Sattva Guna. Sattva Guna binds us. What is Sattva Guna or mode of goodness characterized by? It's characterized by knowledge. It's characterized by purity. It's characterized by sin. You know, we have one guy sitting here in this room whose name is Pratik Kapoor, and his nickname is Dimpu. You know, he's sitting here. And his mother, Punjabi family, the mother is so affectionate to the child. 4-5 days he doesn't stay with the parents. He lives in the apartment next to our college program where we do. He takes care of the place there and all of that. And the mother keeps track of him everywhere he is. She tries to call him every day. Khana khaya? स्वेटर पहना, सॉक्स पहना, चादर ओढ़ा, तू सो गया. She calls him all the time. And many times you know how sons can be. कितनी माँ परेशान पीछे पड़ती है. प्रेम है मालूम है, लेकिन इतना पीछे कहां पड़ती है यार. हर चीज में खाया क्या, पिया क्या, क्या किया क्या. So what do you know what they do? She realized he doesn't pick up the phone. So the other guys who live in that apartment, she caught hold of their phones. And now she calls him. अरे वो आ गया क्या? She caught hold of one guy. सो गया? तो said हाँ सो गया आंटी, सो गया. Then she called another guy. Said आंटी किधर है, बोलो फोन दो. तो आंटी गड़बड़ हो गया इधर अभी. So then she caught that other guy who never speaks a lie. His name is Abhyuday Singh. उसके मुंह से झूठ बोला ही नहीं जाता है. बोले आंटी से झूठ कैसे बोलूं. So whatever this guy's status is, he updates her with that. So she is her trustworthy spy on him, you know. खाया क्या, पिया क्या. You know what mode of goodness is? Purity, freedom from sin. झूठ बोलला ही नाही जाता. कसं सांगू आंटीला. फोनची घंटी वाजली, आता आंटीला कसं सांगू की तू झोपला नाही. My God, mode of goodness. People like Socrates, knowledge, purity, freedom from sin. Socrates said every man on planet Earth should be married. If the marriage works, he'll be happy. If not, at least he'll be a good philosopher. Socrates said that, you know. Mode of goodness is characterized by this, and we are bound by this shackle. देखिए ना हमारा अभ्युदय, फ्रीडम नहीं है उसके पास. मैं ये नहीं बोल रहा झूठ बोलना चाहिए, लेकिन अगर किसी परिस्थिति में धर्म के रक्षण के लिए अगर झूठ बोलना भी पड़े तो वो नहीं बोल सकता. बंधा है वो बेड़ी से, नहीं बोल सकता मैं झूठ. वो भी एक बेड़ी है. युधिष्ठिर, when Lord Krishna asked him to speak a lie, couldn't. Krishna didn't ask him to speak a lie because he was propagating lies. Krishna asked him to speak a lie because it was necessary for the upkeep of dharma. Should a criminal be dealt with in very honest ways? If a criminal is raising the speed of his vehicle to 200 kilometers an hour and the police raises his speed to 250 kilometers, is he breaking the law? No. He's trying to deal with the criminal. Then there is the mode of passion. Unlimited desires. बस डिजायर ही डिजायर. बस अरे जिंदगी में कुछ सेटिस्फैक्शन नाम की चीज है कि नहीं. हाँ, इतना कमा के क्या करेगा रे, क्या करेगा. ये नया नया 10 फोन लेके क्या करेगा. ये फोन आके क्या जिंदगी का क्वालिटी बदला आपके. अगेन डोंट गेट मी रॉन्ग, आई एम नॉट सेइंग फोन्स आर बैड, मनी इज बैड, हैव इट. बट इफ यू आर थिंकिंग ना कि जितना ज्यादा होगा मेरे पास उतना मैं खुश होऊंगा, आई एम टेलिंग यू, यू विल बी बैडली डिसअपॉइंटेड. मैडली एंड बैडली डिसअपॉइंटेड, यू नो. माय गुडनेस. बट दीज पीपल इन द मोड ऑफ पैशन, बाउंड, आशा पाश शतैर बद्धा, बाउंड बाय हंड्रेड्स ऑफ आशास, आशा पाश, नेटवर्क ऑफ डिजायर्स. रुकता ही नहीं, रुकता ही नहीं, रुकता ही नहीं. रिमाइंड मी टू टेल यू टुमारो, because we are short of time today, the story of the 99 Club. I'll tell you that story and you will all say, Prabhuji, how did you know our story? You know, unlimited desires. And to fulfill them, slog it, work hard like anything. परेशान थी पप्पू की वाइफ, क्योंकि नॉन हैपनिंग थी उसकी लाइफ. पप्पू को भी मिलता नहीं था आराम, क्योंकि दिन रात करता था काम भी काम. पप्पू के बॉस भी थे बड़े ही कूल, प्रमोशन को हर बार जाते थे भूल, लेकिन कभी भी वो नहीं भूलते थे डेडलाइन. काम तो करवाते थे अप अंटिल 9. पप्पू भी बनना चाहता था बेस्ट, इसीलिए तो वो नहीं करता था रेस्ट. प्रमोशन की उम्मीद में करता था गुलामी, अप्रेजल की उम्मीद में देता था सलामी. दिन गुजरे और फिर गुजरे कुछ साल, बुरा होता गया पप्पू का हाल. पप्पू को अब कुछ याद नहीं रहता था, गलती से बीवी को बहन जी कहता था. एक दिन फिर पप्पू को समझ आया और छोड़ दी उसने प्रमोशन की मोहमाया. बॉस से बोला, उल्लू क्यों बनाते हो, अप्रेजल के लड्डू से क्यों सताते हो? प्रमोशन दो वरना चला जाऊंगा, अप्रेजल देने पर भी वापस नहीं आऊंगा। बॉस बोले नहीं कोई बात, अभी और भी पप्पूज है मेरे पास। ये दुनिया पप्पुओं से भरी है, सबको बस आगे बढ़ने की पड़ी है। तुम नहीं तो किसी और से कराऊंगा, तुम्हारी तरह एक और पप्पू बनाऊंगा। You know, when I spoke this at the Barclays, the top directors of Barclays India came here at this Pune or APJ house where their headquarters is in Bombay, and I was invited to talk on work-life balance. And when I quoted this poem, the director of Barclays India said to me, मुझे forward करोगे क्या? मैंने बोला आपकी हालत ऐसी है कि आप दूसरों की हालत ऐसी करते हैं। I just asked him, कौन है पप्पू? आपके अंडर जो है वो पप्पू है। Unlimited desires. I'm not saying ambitions are wrong. I'm saying if those ambitions put your life out of balance, finished. Why do you work? For your family. Why do you work? For friends. Why do you work? So they have some time, some leisure, some health. है? घोड़े की तरह, गधे की तरह भागते रहते कई लोग। अभी हम लोग forgetting about ambitions, forgetting about our balance in life. You know, my goodness, mode of passion and obsessed with lust. अरे पत्नी है ना, पत्नी है ना, नहीं satisfied नहीं, वो रावण है। वो एक मंदोदरी के साथ satisfied नहीं है। वो है ना मंदोदरी, इतनी सुंदर है, शालीन स्त्री है, क्यों भाग रहे हैं दूसरे के पीछे? अच्छे अच्छे बच्चे हैं, शर्म नहीं आती? लेकिन नहीं जी, रजोगुण, the mode of passion is characterized, bound by the shackle of desire and lust. Cannot just understand. One lady, wife, she was cleaning the drawer of her husband, you know. Husband had gone to office. So she found two or three tennis balls, and she found about 5,000 rupees in the drawer. So the husband came back evening, said, डार्लिंग क्वेश्चन पूछो एक, आपका ड्रॉवर साफ करते समय ना 3 टेनिस बॉल मिला और 5,000 रुपया, क्या मतलब है इसका? क्या टेनिस खेलते हैं आप ऑफिस में? व्हाट इज दिस टेनिस बॉल? द हस्बैंड सेड, सॉरी ना, आई हैव टू टेल यू समथिंग. Every single time I cheated on you na and went on with someone else na, I purchased one tennis ball and kept it to remind myself that I'm doing wrong. The lady said, अरे 30 साल हो गए शादी में, 3 ही टेनिस बॉल हुआ ना, 3 ही बार गड़बड़ा सके। चलो ठीक है, गलती सबसे होती है, कोई बात नहीं, आगे मत खरीदना टेनिस बॉल। बेटे 5,000 रुपया क्या है? बोला हर बार जब 1 डजन बॉल होता था ना, 100 रुपए में बेच देता था मैं, उससे 5,000 रुपया इकट्ठा किया मैं। मोड ऑफ पैशन कैरेक्टराइज्ड बाय अनलिमिटेड डिजायर्स एंड लस्ट. Asha, pasha, shatair, baddha. And the last is the mode of ignorance or tamoguna. Characterized by laziness, characterized by excessive sleep, characterized by madness and delusion and indolence, characterized by unrestricted shelter of abusive substances. You know, tamoguna, tamasic. It's all tamasic. Mode of ignorance, you know, bound by it. You can see people sometimes, they're so low, they get up after in the morning at 11 o'clock with a hangover from the kick of their alcohol the day before and sit like that, like a zombie, you know. Sit there like a zombie. Life is meant to sit like a zombie. There's nothing constructive to do in life, nothing meaningful, nothing fruitful to do in life. I'm amazed at how the modern civilization is today. Completely under the sway of these 3 modes. पहला तो है ही नहीं goodness, but passion and ignorance that is in its full swing, you know, full swing. And when the person is totally tight, na, Hare Krishna. 3 guys were totally drunk, absolutely drunk, and they were walking around, and they came to a करके वो एक टैक्सी में आके बैठे तीनों, and the taxi driver saw तीनों के तीनों full गए हैं. So he just turned the key of the ignition and then turned it off, से पहुंच गए. He didn't drive the car at all. So the first guy said, thank you, हाँ जल्दी पहुंच. He gave him the money, 1,000 रुपए दे दिया. He paid. The second guy said, thank you, thank you, thank you. Third guy gave him a tight slap on his face. So this guy got scared. इसको पता लग गया लगता है अपनी चाल. So why you hit me? Why you hit me? Said you were driving so fast, accident होता जाता. अगली बार से थोड़ा धीरे चलाना गाड़ी. You know, my goodness. These three modes of material nature bind us and take our freedom away. In one family you find all three examples. Vibhishana, the mode of goodness. Ravana, the mode of passion. Kumbhakarna, the mode of ignorance. अपने जीवन में कौन सा मोड है? अपने जीवन में कौन सा मोड है पता लेगा तो जीवन के मोड पे अच्छी तरह से चल पाएंगे. What is the mode that is functional in our life? All three. Like if you cut potatoes and carrots and beans and steam it all together, na, sometimes potato comes up, sometimes carrot comes up, sometimes beans comes up, sometimes goodness comes up. 5 बजे मंदिर आता है. Most times passion comes up. झगड़ा करता है, ये चाहिए, going on. And ignorance चलता रहता है. But there is a prominent mode that all of us have. Sattvic, Rajasic and Tamasic. It's too much to say that this world is simply governed by law. And this is a prison. Beyond law there is love. Krishna loves us. Sometimes when your father corrects the child, that's not because the father hates the child. The father wants to correct the child and reform the child, help the child reform. In the Bible there is a story. There was a man, a very wealthy man. He had 2 sons. Both of those sons were raised, pampered kids. Every single thing that was asked by the kids, the father gave the kids those things. You know. And then, one day as the kids grew up, one of the kids told the father, "Father, enough is enough. I no longer want to be with you. Give me my share of property and I shall leave." The father said, "Son, I toiled for you, I gave everything for you and you don't have to do anything. Just live with me. Everything is yours, son." The father said, "Don't go." He was insistent. The father divided the property into 2 halves and gave 1 half to the son who demanded it. The son took that property part, left the father. He was called the prodigal son in the parable given in the Bible. The other son, the father said, "Take it." He said, "No, Papa, I don't want any of this property. I want to be with you and serve you and love you." The prodigal son went town to town, city to city, village to village. All the money that he got from his father, his share was spent in indulgences, sensual indulgences. Rich man's son. All the money was over. Now, nothing left. He went for some work. Give me some employment, door to door. No one gave him any employment. He didn't know how to work. He had never worked. His clothes were tattered, torn. No one even gave him anything when he asked for alms. He begged for food. No one gave him food. He was emaciated, thin, tired, exhausted, famished. He decided, even my father's servant back home in the village lives a better life than me. I must get back. And the son, the prodigal son, decided to return. When he came at the outskirts of the town, one of the townspeople came and told the wealthy merchant, "Sir, sir, your son, the prodigal son who took a share of property and left you, has come back. He's in rags. He's emaciated." The father said, "Let there be a festival. Let the whole town be decorated with flags and festoons. Let there be a massive feast that is cooked in the honor of my son, the prodigal son, coming back." You know, the prodigal son came back, fell at the feet of his father. The father hugged him. The other son was standing there. He said, "Father, you offered me my share of the property and I didn't even take it. You never even acknowledged that I served you. Forget of giving a feast like you're doing for the prodigal son who rebelled against you." The father said, "Son, whatever's mine is always yours, has been and shall be. But the son who left has come back. Let us celebrate to welcome him back home in a way that he never leaves us." And then Jesus told Matthew the story to say how God has 2 kinds of sons. the prodigal sons, the Nitya Baddha Jivas, and the obedient sons, the Nitya Siddha Jivas. Those who are the obedient sons of the Father never leave Him. All of us are the prodigal sons who left Him to come to this world. Being sons of rich man like God, ठोकर खा रहे दर दर, earning 1 lakh, 2 lakhs, 3 lakhs a month. What's that? For a rich man's father, 3 lakhs, 5 lakhs a month. छी, भिखारी भी नहीं आता है उधर गोलोक वृंदावन में ऐसा 5 लाख में. छी, third class. When Krishna looks at this world, he thinks it's a Sulabh Shauchalaya. छी, I won't even get inside this world to even do any of these jobs. You know what? Krishna loves us. There are 4 things that Krishna does to us. First, when we decide to leave Him, He attempts to convince us, don't go. Then when He realizes, no, He is hell-bent upon leaving, He doesn't interfere with our free will because He wants us to love us. He allows us to go. Doesn't interfere. You go, beta. You're not going to learn the lesson this way, learn it the hard way, but learn. Go. And then He creates this whole world for us to learn that lesson. That we don't belong here. And while we are here, the Father keeps sending checks. Keeps sending packages so that we are maintained. The air, the food, the water. We have left our home and we are on the streets. Still He is sending packages after packages to maintain us. And finally, when we decide to come back to Him, like we come for this journey of self-discovery course, with His hands wide open, He says, come back. Welcome back home, beta. From this prison, I'm calling you back home. Come. Happily He welcomes us all back. Therefore, if you see this world only as a prison, that's too much. This world is love. Krishna's love for us. He's not there to punish us. He's there to embrace us back. क्योंकि हिंदी में कहते हैं जब सुबह का भूला शाम को घर लौट के आता है ना, उसे भूला नहीं कहते. We have changed the color of our slide to come to the next topic, which is called Kala. We have about half an hour, 40 minutes to go, considering we are going till 9:15 today. 9:59. This is the only one day I take 15 to 20 minutes extra, by the way. Every other day I finish it in 2 hours sharp. Kal, time and tide, wait for none. How time ticks by and moves around is incredible, isn't it? What is the job of time, Kala? Kala is the executioner of all. एक व्यक्ति है जो सबको उड़ा देगा. A serial killer. From J.F. Kennedy to Marilyn Monroe to M.K. Gandhi to Rajiv Gandhi and Indira Gandhi. Someone may see that those guys were the ones who shot them. Arey, what they can shoot. What they can shoot. It is time, Kal, who makes them as puppets to shoot. End their life. You know. Once Rajiv Gandhi was up there, wherever he is, and Indira Gandhi was also there, and he was smiling, you know. हंस रहा था जोर जोर से. Indira Gandhi said, क्या हो गया? Why you are laughing so much? बोला देखो देखो वो सोनिया, शादी मैंने की, भुगत रहा है मनमोहन सिंह. My goodness. Time is a powerful executioner. और अपना टाइम आता है ना, कोई रोक नहीं सकता. No power in this world can stop time from acting on us. No matter what you do. Walt Disney, while he was dying, he told all the scientists, take all my fortune, but whenever you invent a way to bring a man back to life, please bring me back to life. And his own relatives, the scientists kept his body in a cold storage. His own relatives turned the cold storage off. बोला पैसा हमारा है, वो scientist खा रहा है. Let the body go to drains and we'll get all the money. Once, you know, a guy was sitting in his house and Yamraj came, said, आ गया तेरा number बेटा, चल. Come, I've come to take you. So he said, अरे यमराज को थोड़ा खिला पिलाएंगे अच्छे से तो छोड़ देगा मेरे को. He fed him nicely, gave him good drinks and everything, and he added some sleeping pills into the food, and Yamraj went to sleep. Meanwhile, he pulled out from Yamraj's dhoti. He doesn't have pocket. So he pulled out from the side of the pocket his list. किस किस का नाम है देखने के लिए. He saw on top of his name was his name. आज पहला तो इसलिए आया ना, जाना है अभी. He said अभी सो गया है, I'll change the list. So he made all the names he put, and he put his name the last. बोला तब तक तो टाइम मिलेगा, घूम घाम के आएगा, अपन कैंसिल करेगा तो बहुत प्रॉब्लम है, लेकिन लास्ट में डाल देता है. 1000-2000 नाम है, थोड़ा टाइम मिलेगा अपने को. So Yamaraj got up, He said, "Arey, what you fed me today and gave me such nice time and I had such good sleep. I work overtime there in Yamloka. People are so sinful, you know. I had a great time and because I'm so happy with you, na, today I have decided I'll begin with the last." You know, when your time comes, na, what can you do? So the job of Kala first is execution. The second one is E for execution, C for cycle. Cycle of the universe. Time makes the universe go through these cycles called Satya, Dwapar, Treta, Kali. This cycle of the universe. The English calendar never had 12 months at all. The English calendar only had 10 months. You know? Because if you see, the ninth month of the English calendar is called September. And in September, what is 7 called in Sanskrit? Sapta. September. It's supposed to be the 7th month and it's the 9th month in the calendar. What is 8 called in Sanskrit? Ashta. Ashtabar. October is the 8th month. And what is it now? 10th month. Right? And what is 9 called in Sanskrit? Nava. November. Is it not? It's supposed to be the 9th month and it is the 11th month. What is 10 called in Sanskrit? Dasha. Dashambar. December. It's meant to be the 10th month. But apna 12 hai. You know what? July and August were added. There was a king named Julius and a king named Augustus. They were so egomaniac. They said, "Hamara calendar mein naam kaisa nahi? 2 mahina dalo." For Julius and Augustus, July and August came. The Vedic calendar moves in yugas. Satya, Dwapar, Treta, Kali. You know, Ram Yug ka doodh, Krishna Yug ka ghee, Kali Yug ki chai, phook phook ke pee. That was an advertisement on a Haridwar tea stall, you know. With Satya to Dwapar to Treta to Kali, things go on degenerating. The cycle of the body also goes on. First there is gestation. Then there is a fetus formed in the womb. Time does it all. Then birth. And as time passes by, childhood. Then boyhood. Then youth. Then middle age. Then old age. And finally time comes and ends the cycle, death, to give you another body in the future if you don't choose to live another kind of life. We'll talk about that a little later. And time is also considered a gambler. ECG. Gambler, na? He has 2 eyes. Time has 2 eyes. One is called day, the other is called night. And with his 2 eyes, na, time is constantly watching us. Sometime he winks, you know, closes one of these eyes during the day and keeps watching you. Kala. And then he closes the eye called day in the night and opens the other eye called night and keeps watching us 24/7 all our life. Kala, time is a witness to what we are doing. And he allows us to enjoy. What a good gambler is, we'll allow him to make him feel that he's winning, you know. Take it, right. And you think, "Arey, lottery lag gaya, arey, wow, my God, I got a promotion, how hurrah," you know. And then suddenly there is a calamity in the house. Wife gets terminal cancer. All the money that came goes to the cancer surgeon. And then you lament, cry. And Kala, the gambler, is enjoying, smiling. Kabhi khushi, kabhi gum. Winning, losing, winning, losing. He makes the opponent feel he's winning, losing. And finally then, Kala throws the last dice and takes either all what you have away by making you a bankrupt, or keeps all what you have in place and takes you away. Either or happens. Either in the lifetime people lose everything, or if they have everything, they are gone. You know, that's the job of Kala or time. ECG, executioner of all, cycle of the universe, and gambler. Let's move to the next topic called karma. Ishvara, Jiva, Prakriti, Kala, Karma. And now we will get the answer to our question as we close on this topic this evening. You know, why do bad things happen to good people? But it's important to talk about all these topics because these are the fundamentals required to discuss this answer. You know? We live in a world where everyone is so unique, isn't it? Each one is so unique in this world. Someone is born healthy. Someone is born handicapped. Isn't it? Someone is born handsome. And someone is born ugly. Someone is born with a silver spoon in the mouth, surrounded by wealth. You know? And someone is born impoverished, with nothing to eat or drink. Why this disparity? Why this disparity when the God is kind God, isn't it? Why can't He make everyone look the same? Why can't He make everyone the same? And then innocent children, you know, for no fault of theirs suffer. Killed in Palestine, killed in Godhra, killed in this place, killed in that place. क्या किया था वो मासूम बच्चे ने? क्या किया था वो मासूम बच्चे ने? Why do bad things happen like that to good people? Innocent, poor, simple little kids. Why should they go through all of this? A very pertinent question that all of us need to answer. Why is God so cruel? Let me tell you 3 stories. And through 3 stories, establish what happens in this world. A family from Scotland, farmer. Farmer, heard about the Titanic. You know, he lived in Scotland. The first voyage of the luxury cruise. And he decided to save to go on the maiden voyage of the Titanic. They saved all that money for the whole family to go, a family of 5 or 6. And with all the money saved, they just purchased the tickets. The dream date was to arrive to leave when the Titanic would leave from Southampton. And just a week before that, one of the sons in the family, the farmer's sons, was bitten by a dog. And he was quarantined. He can't travel. The doctors quarantined him. Which automatically meant the whole family couldn't go. How would they leave the son behind? So this guy started cursing and he said, I don't believe in a God. I spent my life's earnings to go on that cruise liner. And look what he has done to us. My son is bitten by a dog and I can't go on board now. All my savings have been spent in that ticket uselessly. And the Titanic sailed off. It sank. News came to Scotland. And guess what the farmer said? Thank you, Lord. किधर है वो कुत्ता? उसका चरण छूना है मुझे. Where is that kutta? Thank you, God, for inspiring that dog to bite my child. Otherwise, we were all gone. A guy in Scotland, because of circumstances, changed from being a non-believer to a believer. Charles Darwin. Your favorite Charles Darwin. All the students, people in the medical field, scientific field, the favorite Charles Darwin, who speaks about the evolution of life. I mean, I can talk about evolution for hours from the scientific point of view, which I wouldn't bore you all with this, all that stuff here. This man was a staunch believer of God. Every Sunday in church, England, you know, he had a 7-year-old son who contracted pneumonia and died. That man who spoke in his talks, being a scientist, spoke that God is the source of life. You find books on that. You know, this gentleman, when he saw his son die, innocent 7-year-old die for no reason, became an atheist. The farmer in Scotland became a theist because his son was saved and his family was saved. And Charles Darwin became an atheist, and rather than saying that life comes from God, now he said life comes from a monkey, and he proposed the whole evolution theory. You know? So a theist became an atheist became a theist. There was another man whose name was Harold Kushner. He was a Jewish, Judaic rabbi, a priest, a staunch believer of God. He never remained a theist, and he didn't even become an atheist. he became what is called as a deist. Theism is about belief in God. Atheism is about no belief in God. Deism is, I believe that there is a creator, but he is a limited creator. He cannot interfere with the lives of people to help them. He just sits up there in his ivory tower and enjoys life, whereas he's left all of us to just go through the pangs of sufferings and miseries in this world. Harold Kushner had a son. At the age of 5, he contracted a disease called progeria. For those of you who know what progeria is, for those of you who don't know, I'm sure you watched the movie Pa. In the movie Pa, you saw Amitabh going through this disease called progeria. Premature aging. This child of Harold Kushner went through premature aging, and at the age of 14 he died. Now Harold Kushner said, I cannot say that God doesn't exist. He is there. But he doesn't interfere with the lives of people in this world. Otherwise, how did my son die? And he wrote a bestseller of that time, a book entitled When Bad Things Happen to Good People. It was a bestseller, a world bestseller even today. What was Harold Kushner's arguments? He said, if God cannot be all powerful and all merciful simultaneously, he has to be one or the other. If he is all powerful, शक्ति है उनमें अपने समस्याओं का निवारण करने की, but he cannot be all merciful. He can help us, but he doesn't have mercy, because if he was kind, why do we see suffering in the world like this? Why? He's kind, na? He has the power to help now. Why doesn't he interfere and help? You know? Then he argued, maybe he is all merciful, maybe he's kind, but then he doesn't have the power to help. कभी कभी होता है ना, एक स्टूडेंट दूसरे को बोलता है, मदद करूं क्या? बोले 1000 रुपया दे. बोले अरे 10 रुपया नहीं, जेब में 1000 क्या देगा? Wants to help but no ability to help. Why? Because he cannot alleviate the suffering in this world, you know. क्या कर रहे हैं बेकसूर लोग? क्या क्या होता है उन पे? One of the guy whom I know was in a love affair, you know, and this love affair fellow, somehow or the other, this girl didn't even ditch him. It was all imaginary from his side. He went all the way, and he only knew she lived in a place in Rajasthan. He went all the way there, purchased the bottle of acid, you know, and had decided to throw that acid on her face. Found out the address of that girl and went there. Real story. I have the email with me, the whole email that he wrote to me about what his adventures were. You know, that girl opened the door. God was kind to her. Her father was there. The father came and shouted and slammed the door shut before this guy could do anything. The police was to put him behind bars. And he's a Hare Krishna devotee, by the way. You know, chanting and all of that. Therefore, I sometimes feel that unless one does things right, spirituality must transform us first into a good human being also. Not just remain spiritual and all that above, you know, halo around the head kind of thing. You see? Why can't God do something? He is either powerful or merciful. Both can't be. Help कर सकता है लेकिन नहीं करता क्योंकि kind नहीं है. Help नहीं कर सकता क्योंकि शक्ति नहीं है लेकिन kindness है बेचारे के पास. दोनों नहीं हो सकता भगवान. That's what he reasoned in his book. Lord Krishna says in the Gita, I am equal to all. Samoham sarva bhuteshu. In a court of justice, the judge awards rigorous imprisonment to one and a plenty of compensation to the other. Is the judge partial? When he gives punishment to one and gives compensation to another, is the judge partial? No. He's not partial. The judge gives judgments based on the activities of the individual. जज का किसी से लेना देना नहीं था. अच्छा काम करेगी आपको अच्छा मिलेगा, बुरा काम करेगी आपको उसका पनिशमेंट मिलेगा. Why blame the judge? The judge is equal to everyone. Similarly, Lord Krishna in the heart as Paramatma is the witness, and he gives us judgments based on our activities. those activities are called as karma. Don't think God wants to trouble you. Is the judge want to trouble you? जज क्यों आपके पीछे क्यों पड़ेगा हाथ धो के? कोई लेना देना नहीं, काम धंधा नहीं जज को आपको परेशान करने के अलावा. The judge is equal, not at all partial, unbiased, simply gives judgments based on our activities. You know? What is the law of karma? What is Newton's third law of motion? For every action, there is an equal corresponding reaction. You go and kick a door, you know, थैड करके लात मारो, अपने पैर में वापस लगता है. There is a reaction. एकदम स्पाइसी मसाला वाला पानी पूरी खाओ, अगले दिन रिएक्शन मिलता है. You can't avoid reaction. One British person told me, now I know, you know, why these Indians use water. If they use tissue, it'll catch fire, you know. I'm sorry about that. I don't know, I have a crazy wild mind which keeps saying these things. What to do? Reaction is just a part of life. Every action must get a reaction. Therefore the Bible says, as you sow, so shall you reap. And life is not an exception. Whatever we do, the reaction must come back to us. Don't blame God why He is doing this or that. Don't blame the judge why He is punishing or not punishing. How is the judge to be blamed? How is the judge to be blamed? I'm not talking of the corrupt judges today. How is an honest judge to be blamed? He is simply judging the person based on their activities. You know? And therefore, the Lord also looks at what we have done and accordingly punishes us or rewards us. There was a guy who was traveling by train, and as he was traveling by train, he kept asking the guy who was sitting next to him, अरे अभी अगला स्टेशन कितने मिनट में आएगा? बोला 15 मिनट में. कितने समय तक ट्रेन रुकता है उधर? 5 मिनट रुकता है. Again after 10 minutes, कितने समय तक रुकता है? अरे 5 मिनट रुकता है ट्रेन उधर स्टेशन में. 10 times he asked. The train arrived, and this guy who was asking this question sat peacefully for 3 minutes, then rushed out of the train in 1 minute, went to the newspaper vendor, gave the money, picked the newspaper, rushed back to the train, ha करके बैठा और ट्रेन निकला. So the guy said, आधे घंटे से सर खा रहा था मेरा, कितने समय तक रुकते? 5 मिनट बोला था ना, पहले उतरा क्यों नहीं? बोला तू क्या मुझे उल्लू समझता है? He pulled out his wallet and showed some fake notes, currency notes. बोला 5 मिनट में पहले जाके फेक नोट देके न्यूज़पेपर लाएगा तो उसको समझा तो पकड़ा तो जाने नहीं देगा ट्रेन में. 3 मिनट गया, 1 मिनट में डाला लिया, भागा का भी कैसे पकड़ेगा वो मेरे को? He sat down and he pulled out the newspaper. It was 15 days old. You cannot escape the reaction. Believe me, none of us can ever escape the reaction. That is the law of karma. For every action, except politics, no sir, even they get their reactions. It's just time. It is just time. I'll tell you, everyone will get it. Because it's the law of life. There is a saying in the Bible, the mills of God grind extremely slow but exceedingly fine. Slow, properly observed, and you feel there is no reaction. Look at the life mess, Their minds are a mess. Their families are a mess. The reaction is coming. We are just not seeing it. It's just a facade that's put forth by the big shows that is made. But yes, timely everything will come out. The 2G scam came out. Why would the others not? It will. It will. There will be an Anna Hazare, someone somewhere, who will stand up and fight, who will speak. Probably he's sitting amongst you, I don't know. Maybe. Don't take me on the task. I am not a scam man. My goodness. Second question. There are types of karma. 3 types of karma. First, good karma. also called pious activities, also called punya. Second, bad karma, also called vikarma, also called pap, also called sin. Same, synonyms for the same word. You know what is the law of life? Gigo. Good in, good out. Garbage in, garbage out. Good in, good out is called karma. Pious activities. Garbage in, garbage out is called vikarma. Sinful activities. And the third is called akarma, or spiritual activities, which is God in, God out. Which means I go beyond good and bad. It's not God. It's not a question of good or bad. My God. I missed a heartbeat. Time for iPhone 5 looks like. My God. My presentation आगे चला गया हो. थोड़ा कभी-कभी excitement में हाथ चला जाता है. God and it's not about good or bad. It's about how to live a life based on the teachings of God. That's called a karma. And every action has an equal corresponding reaction. You do good, you get good. You do bad, you get bad. You do spiritual activities, the result is spiritual merits that you can carry when you leave. You know? But yes, the reaction will come. How will the reaction come to me? Very simple. If you go to an ATM, how much time does it require to get your money? 2 minutes? Probably. If you deposit a check, how much time does it get to get your money? A day? 2 days? Fine. Instant karma and delayed karma. Some reactions will come to you right away, immediately. Some reactions will come to you after a while. When you sow mustard seeds, mustard grows about within 3-4 days, a week's time it will start flowering up. You sow a coconut, it takes 20 years for, probably 15 to 20 years for the tree to bear coconuts. You slap someone straight, सीधा थप्पड़ instant कर्मा अपने को भी मिलता है. I always say Steven Spielberg was once sitting in a restaurant and a Chinese man came to him and said, Steven, I'm your fan. All your special effects, I love them, man. Can I get your autograph? So Steven Spielberg झापड़ दमारा उसको खाट करके एक झापड़ लगाया. He said, why did you slap me? Huh? Why? आज गेलो मी. My God, I'm getting too hyper looks like today. मेरा भी झापड़ का टाइम आ गया लगता है. Say, why did you slap me? He said, you guys. Steven Spielberg said to him, you guys, you Chinese destroyed our Pearl Harbor in America. 7th of December. The Chinese man said, Steven, it's not the Chinese. It's the Japanese who destroyed the Pearl Harbor. Steven Spielberg said, doesn't matter. Chinese, Taiwanese, Japanese, all same. So the Chinese man gave a tight slap to Steven Spielberg. फाड़ करके मारा उसको एक झापड़. He said, why did you hit me? The Chinese man said, all my relatives were on the Titanic. You were responsible for the drowning of the Titanic. He said, you nut, it wasn't me. It was an iceberg. The Chinese man said, iceberg, Carlsberg, Spilsberg. And gave him another tight slap on his face and said, doesn't matter. Some things come na, ऐसा खट करके आ जाता है. And sometimes if someone murders another guy, not slaps, for years together it's a hidden mystery. Detective spies are behind to find out. And then probably you detect it, you know. My goodness. So what is it called? Instant karma, delayed karma. Some reactions come immediately, some reactions come delayed. Dhritarashtra was blind and all his 100 children were killed. Because 50 lifetimes before that, Dhritarashtra was a hunter. And he had killed the 100 birdlets of a mother and a father bird and made both the mother and the father bird blind. 50 lifetimes later he got this reaction. Someone may say 50 lifetime क्यों लगा? Instantly क्यों नहीं आया? इतना delay कैसे हो गया कर्मा आने में, reaction आने में? The delay was because it takes a pious lifetime to get so many sons. 50 lifetimes of punya and piety to first get 100 sons. All that piety brought him 100 sons first, and then the 50 lifetimes पहले का हिसाब किताब एकदम चुकता. You know what? Therefore, good is bad and bad is bad. Good karma is also bad. You know why? Because if you do good karma and you don't get the reaction to that good karma immediately, you have to take birth again to just go through that good karma. Again get diseased. Again get old. Again die. And based on your activities, there's no certainty whether you'll become a human being. My God. Therefore, good is bad and bad too is 100% bad. Both bring us back if the karmic reactions don't come to us instantaneously. Two pigs were discussing with each other, and one pig said to the other pig, you know what? Wet stool is so delicious. It's so yummy, so juicy, so succulent. Wow. The other pig said, nutty, dry stool is so nice, so crunchy, so crispy, incredible, And then another person came and said, you nuts, are a dry stool or wet stool, stool is stool. Good karma or bad karma, karma is karma which brings us back. Therefore, you know why the karma theory is given to us? Not to analyze what we did because of which we are suffering. Many times people say, क्या मैंने किया था जिससे मैं काला हूं? कुछ तो होगा किया जिससे काला हुआ ना? क्या मैंने किया जिससे इस अमीर घर का बाप का बेटा बना मैं? What is it? When you get a mosquito bite and you get malaria, all the symptoms of malaria, you go to a doctor, the doctor diagnoses it to be malaria and tells you, अरे चलो भाई मलेरिया है दवाई खाओ. वो बोला नहीं डॉक्टर साहब पहले बोलो कौन सा मच्छर काटा वो दिखाओ तभी मैं गोली खाऊंगा. How do you have access to find out which mosquito bit you? There is no access, but there is definitely access to the treatment. Don't worry about which mosquito bit. Take the treatment and get rid of the malaria. Don't worry about which karma caused this trouble. Take shelter of God and finish off all these karmic reactions. We have no access to find out what our past lives were. Deep Kapadia was an exceptional case who remembered his past life. There are exceptional cases like that. We don't know what our past karmic records were. But we do know if the symptoms are of malaria, na machhar ne kaata hi hoga. So if I'm going through these reactions, mean there has to be some karmic things that have caused it. So let me truly solve that problem. Sometimes people say, अरे मुझे याद रहता ना पिछले जन्म में क्या किया था तो मैं सुधर जाता था ना. अभी याद नहीं तो कैसे सुधरूंगा? पिछले जन्म में क्या गलती किया है वो याद रहता. So I would have improved now. So many mistakes we make in life. Do we remember it all? A guy who is a drunkard, has liver cirrhosis, comes out of the hospital and still continues to drink in spite of going through that experience, knowing what his mistake is. He remembers. फिर भी सुधरता नहीं है. You know what? We may not remember what we did in the past life. Krishna in our heart does. And many times from within he gives us that conscience. Don't do it. Still we don't listen. He sends some saintly men in the Gita and courses like this and says, don't do it. Wait, pause, change. Still we don't listen. याद रह के क्या फर्क पड़ता था ऐसे भी? हाँ? In spite of going through all these diseases because of drinking, still this guy continues to do the same. It is said that someone who doesn't touch cigarettes at all in his life, he goes to Brahmaloka. And someone who doesn't touch drinks at all in his life, he goes to Indraloka. And someone who touches both, goes to Jasloka. फिर भी आके बाहर वही कंटिन्यू करता रहता है वो. And therefore, I think reactions to karma come as delayed and instant. How does karma track us? There's two kinds of karmic reactions. Individual, which is what I did comes back to me only. And there's something called as collective karmic reaction, where hundreds of people who are meant to go through the same reaction are brought together by the laws of nature and are given the reaction together. That is called collective karma. A plane crash, a train accident. Of course, that doesn't make us hard-hearted. Although it's their karma, we go for their help, we go for their relief and remind them, change friends. We are going through what we have done. Our activities have brought us this result. Change. अभी आप बोलेगे, अरे आज तक तो मुझे मालूम ही नहीं था कर्मा का लॉ ना, तो आज तक जो किया है हो जाएगा ना, छुट्टी ना, क्षमा हो जाएगा ना. Ignorance of law is no excuse to escape the reaction. If a village wala goes into the first class compartment na, and the TT comes and says, ticket, वो टिकट दिखाता है, बोला नहीं है फर्स्ट क्लास का टिकट किधर है, नहीं 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 मैं टिकट है नहीं, अरे फर्स्ट क्लास का टिकट किधर, साहब मेरे को मालूम नहीं था फर्स्ट क्लास है, छोड़ दो ना. Not knowing does not mean that you'll be freed from the reaction. You know, आज तक जो किया ना, बोले आज तक तो आज आपने बताया हमको ऐसा सब होता है. You know, someone में से अभी पहले बुरा काम किया है ना, अभी अच्छा करते हैं, तो गुड एंड बैड विल कैंसिल ईच अदर. सिंपल फॉर्मूला. पहले से बुरा काम किया, अभी मंदिर में चलो, एक गाय को दान दे दो, थोड़े गरीबों को पैसा भोजन खिला दो, थोड़ा कुछ अच्छा काम कर दो, थोड़ा चैरिटी कर दो, तो फिर नीचे से जो पैसा लिया था ना टेबल के नीचे से, उसका जो बैड कर्म है ना, गुड कर्म है ना, गुड बैड कैंसल, फ्री. Good and bad karma do not cancel each other. Every single good deed is separately rewarded and every single bad deed is separately punished. In this world, the justice is such that if you do 1 murders or do 20 murders, you can only be hung once. In the court of the law of nature, you do 1 murder, separately punished, another murder, separately punished. In fact, many times when you have no control and people come and say things to you or do things to you, you have to know it's some karmic reaction in the past that is coming back to you through him. If you react, new karma you create. When you react back, पहले का जो किया था वो आया है, वापस react करके वापस वो चेंज चलता रहता है. So what should I do? Be abused? No. We should try and sort out the situation as much as is humanly possible for us, but also know it's my karma that's coming to me. Let me go through it with gratitude. Why do bad things happen to good people? You know what a silo is? A grain storage. Several years of grains are stored there in the silo. The farmer puts it from the top, and from the bottom the farmer withdraws the grains. In the year 2012, the farmer had an excellent quality harvest. So when he put the grains on top, the wheat, high quality wheat in 2012. But when he withdraws the grains from bottom, he finds horrible quality wheat coming out. So he's thinking, why do bad things happen to good people? He's putting in good grains. Why is he getting bad grains? He's not getting bad grains from 2012. At the bottom of the silo is grains from 2008. So what is coming as bad is not the reaction to 2012. What is coming as bad is the reaction to 2008. Just like a silo, our life is a karmic account. All the bad that comes to us is because of the bad that we have done sometime in a lifetime before this. And we have no access to find out when. Don't say it's my karma without trying. विद्यार्थी पढ़ता नहीं है, स्टूडेंट डजंट स्टडी एंड फेल्स, बोला कर्मा है, बैड कर्मा है पिछले जन्म का. रास्कल पढ़ाई करता तो ऐसा नहीं होता था. व्हेन यू हैव ट्राइड योर लेवल बेस्ट एंड हैव नॉट लेफ्ट एनी स्टोन अनटर्न्ड, देन इफ यू गो थ्रू फेलियर और थ्रू प्रॉब्लम्स, देन इट इज नथिंग बट कर्मा फ्रॉम अ प्रीवियस लाइफ. व्हाट शुड आई डू नाउ? सब बोल दिया, कोई इशारा है क्या? व्हाट शुड आई डू नाउ? Human life is like a train junction. From a train junction, you can choose to go to different places. Till there, you have no choice. If you go from Bombay to Pune, you have no choice. Kandivali, Chandivali, Karjat, and what else? Matheran, Lonavala, Talegaon, Chinchwad, Pimpri, Khadki, Shivaji Nagar, Pune. Till there, you have no choice. From there, you have a choice to go to Goa, to go to Delhi, to go to Kashmir, because it's a junction. The last time we had a human life was a junction. After that, because of our karma, we fell to a lower species. Then there is no choice. First, all the species of aquatics, 9 lakhs. Then all the species of trees, all the species of animals. Birds are like Chandivali, Karjat. No choice, you can't get off. And you can't do anything. We had heard on the first day, animals have no choice to change the course of their life. Can you imagine how fortunate you are all? You have come to this junction again. After millions of lifetimes of evolution in this different species, now we are here again as a human being. Now you have 4 choices. The first choice, do good, punya, and upgrade yourself to heavenly abodes and be a demigod. Choice 2, do a mixture of good and bad and remain here on planet Earth again as a human being in the next life. Choice 3 is do prominently sinful and bad activities and first go to hell for punishment and then come back in a lower species as a dog or cat. And choice 4 is take shelter of Krishna, God, the akarma thing that we spoke of, and get out of heaven, hell, earth, everything, and go back home, back to Godhead, from the home that we originally came. We are in a prison. The purpose of a prison is to reform and go back home, to be with our family, God's family, Krishna's family. That is called moksha. That is called liberation. The purpose of life is not to live in this prison. The purpose of life is moksha and liberation. And that is only possible when we take shelter of God through what is called as akarma. So tomorrow, our talk will begin with akarma. And we'll be talking about how to practically apply this philosophy in our lives. Tomorrow we'll also touch upon heaven, hell, and earth. We have to learn how to lead responsible lives. Thank you all very much. Hare Krishna.